It's initializing, it says. Oh, here we go. And we're going. Sorry, that was kind of goofy. Damn, we kind of been ripping him out. We've been
got
kind of
the
ripping him
agenda.
out.
We got that boy Toon.
We got that boy Toon.
Thank you, fellas. Thank you, fellas, for having me. Finally, time for me to be able to defend myself.
Yeah, this man Tanner has been he's been texting us saying he wants to fucking fight us because he hasn't been able to defend Ohio State, and we've just been absolutely obliterating them in every single pod. So,
all right, with the territory.
Yeah, that's fair. So, okay. Well, that being said, Tanner is he's a Columbus native who lives now down in Florida, but he still roots for the Buckeyes, I believe. If you transition, you're
I mean, he transitioned every other fucking team that he did like.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's gonna happen. I'm not a Gator guy.
I don't think.
You might have to become a Seminole though. They're gonna be good.
USF's been looking pretty on the come up lately.
With that being said, though, with you being an Ohio State fan and this being an Iowa podcast, what do you think about Ohio State's record this year? What do you think is a big win, or do you see any losses coming? Floor is yours.
No, I'm not an unrealistic fan. I'd like to think that we have 3 tough games. I think Michigan, Penn State, Notre Dame, 3 tough games. I think we have a new quarterback. So in my opinion, I think one of those games is going to be an L. I'd prefer it probably be Notre Dame, as much as it pains for me to say. If we're going to lose one, I'd rather lose out of the conference so we can still win the East. But
that's a good point.
Against every one of my better judgments.
Also, it's the earliest game, so you don't want to lose late either.
Very true.
Exactly.
Did you see Zach Smith's statements today about how a lot of people are like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
who's the quarterback going to be? What are your thoughts about that? Who do you want as quarterback?
I think it's a toss-up. I think that Devin Brown has a big arm. I think he's going to be a bigger playmaker. I think he makes bigger mistakes. I think Kyle McCord, you kind of know what you're going to get. I think he's got a good arm. He's got good arm talent. I don't think he's going to be a top 10 pick in the draft. But when you have Marvin Harrison, Julian Fleming, Egbuka, Cade Stover, when you got the list of weapons we have and then a good backfield, I mean, I think it's pretty hard to screw that up. I think if you can not turn the ball over and be smart with it and kind of manage the game, kind of like I picture like a JT Barrett. Obviously, first year, I would say that's going to be the comp I'd give him. I don't think he's going to light anyone up with CJ Stroud-like throws, but I mean,
do you think JT had a better line, or do you think that this year's line is going to be? Because there's a lot of question marks, and maybe they're great this year, but just going into the season.
I mean, we lost Paris and DeWan. I mean, you lose both your tackles. They could be great. I mean, we have talent coming up, but I mean, that's the biggest worry I have is how's this line going to do? Because I think you have everything else on that offense, and if you have any quarterback of that caliber, recruit wise, experience wise, I mean, he's been there for years. He knows the system. He comes in and he has some time to make a play. I mean, our receiver is going to be open. If he doesn't have time to make plays, it could be ugly. So,
yeah, I also think though that new quarterback and if your O line isn't playing worse, like that's fucking detrimental.
100% detrimental. If that line,
Caleb Williams, I think could kind of make it like somewhat work. Yeah. But like new quarterback, not a lot of experience, just getting rushed all the time. That's sketch.
You'd be surprised too. I have not seen a ton of tape. He hasn't played a whole lot, but Kyle McCord looks like he can get around. I think he might be more mobile than CJ Stroud was. I mean, he didn't move for crap. Granted, he had one of the better lines in the country last year, but Kyle McCord seems like he can make some plays and get out of the pocket a little bit. So we'll see. I mean, that's the biggest downfall. If our offensive line's good, I think you better watch out in the Big Ten because everything else around us is pretty great. Running back.
If our offensive line good, I don't think it just sticks to the Big Ten though. It's a tough team because the defense is going to be good.
Yeah, well, that kind of leads into our next question, though. Who would you say on both sides of the ball you're most excited about?
But exclude exclude the nasty players.
Yeah, like you don't need to tell us Marvin Harrison. We understand he's obviously a different talent. Like who's a different guy? Like just try to think outside the box-ish.
I mean, our secondary has been a disaster for the last 3 years. We have the transfer coming in from Ole Miss. I think Davidson and Bunkson's guy I want to come see play. He was first team All-SEC freshman last year. So, I mean, if he can come in and be solid. I think would be someone I'd like to watch. I think Steel Chambers, obviously this is his third year playing linebacker. He looked great last year. Another year under Knowles. I mean, I think he can have a huge season next to Eichenberg's a beast. So, I mean, paired with him, I think you could have a good linebacking core. You throw Hicks on there and some sets. I think that could be a solid unit. But I'd say those two on defense is who I want to see have a big year. I'd love to see Burke have a bounce back year. He played like crap last year, but the year before that, you thought would be the next CIA. You thought he'd be the next guy going first round next to Ward and all those guys.
He wasn't that for sure.
Yeah. And then
so I didn't. Did you say I wasn't paying attention for a second.
He said the oldest guy.
Yeah, no, but is he cornerback one?
Mm-mm.
I think Burke is.
I know, but Burke didn't have that good of a season last year.
That's what he's saying. He wasn't good last year, but his freshman year he was
Yeah,
he was the dude that looked like the next first rounder. So I mean,
definitely a stud.
if he's anything like that, to your point, I mean, dude, he could be a first round guy. You know, cornerbacks are so hard to come by, and if he plays anything like how he did freshman year, I was amazed watching him, and I'm an OSU hater, so
yeah, we'll see. That's a big question mark. I mean, Lathan Ransom and hopefully Sonny Styles are back there at safety. Lathan Ransom had a bad couple plays against Georgia, but I think he's a stud.
No, I like Lathan Ransom.
His name is so sick, dude.
Yeah, I like him. But I think Proctor is going to start.
No, Proctor.
He's still around, bro?
Yes, dude.
There. Fifth year, I don't think he might play a little bit, but I think they're going to give Styles the.
I think Styles is going to be a flex guy.
Yeah, he could be.
Is Cam Babb still around?
No, I think he's on the staff as like a.
Dude, he's the GOAT. I mess with him.
That's a leader.
That's a leader.
A well-deserved 0.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Though I mess with him. I met him one time at a function. It was for
the same one Master T was at.
Yeah. That's a story for a different time. That's a story for a different time. Because honestly, I don't know if that's something I should say. Because it might not hit right with a certain audience. So we'll leave that one out. But it was fucking hilarious, and he owed me. He owed me. But all things aside, I got cooked by Master Teague's fucking cue ball looking ass. Anyway, so all right. Who on the offensive side would you say you're most geeked up for? You say Marvin Harrison, I'm ending this.
No. I think Cade Stover, he's a beast. He's probably one of my favorite players the whole entire team. So I talked about this with Dan earlier, but he's not a guy who's going to go up for 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. He's going to be a guy that makes big 3rd and 7.
They just don't.
I love.
He's going to be a great player. They don't utilize.
He won't put up numbers like that, but he will be a guy. He could be a guy in the NFL.
Dude, I swear to God, I felt like every single game that I watched last year, like this dude was going off. But dude, he only had 400 yards last year.
I know. Like I agree with you, but yeah, his numbers didn't.
But no, it did every game. He had impact catches.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm a big fan of him. And shout out Josh Chamber because that's his cousin.
Yeah, it is his cousin. And
Oh, sorry about that.
I think they went to Big One Up. I know Garrett Stover went to Big One.
No, Cade Stover is from like Marysville or something weird.
Well, Garrett Stover, I'm pretty sure went to Big One Up.
Garrett Stover, there's another one.
Yeah, he's a fucking 4-star, high 4-star.
Is he a tight end?
No, he's a linebacker. Cade Stover came in as a linebacker too.
Those are two guys I'm telling you right now. If I saw them in an Oklahoma drill against me, I'm chalking my L. They're gonna run through me so hard.
Yeah, Garrett Stover went to Big Nut.
Yeah, that guy's killing me. Oh, he went to Big Nut?
Yeah.
4-star?
Yeah, he's high.
Yeah, he's gonna be the man.
He's 130. Oh, wait,
that's pretty good.
He's 147 composite.
That's really good, dude. All right, shout out that. That's pretty solid. OSU's defense, you could tell Jim Knowles, and I know that you don't hate to hear this, but like he's made an immediate impact.
No, I agree. I don't disagree. I watched him too.
Yeah. I'm not saying that you didn't watch him, but like you just kind of a hater as well. Like you didn't want to believe that he'd be good for them.
Well,
he's good.
I knew he would be good,
right?
But it was just like Ohio State. I just don't want them to have a good defense again. Their defense has been abysmal.
It's good now again. The only question mark to me is linebackers, and again, like you were just saying, Steel Chambers and Eichenberg. Those are two experienced guys, and Eichenberg is a freak.
And honestly, you're gonna see fucking Sonny Styles in that flex linebacker position a good amount.
I think him and Hicks are going to be switching out. I think that Styles is just going to be all over the field.
He's going to be all over the field. Dude.
He's too good. Wow, we're glazing them too hard. I hate that. So let's.
I ain't glazing shit. We're still winning that game.
What do you think about? Yeah, so let's talk about that.
You only said one of your offensive players.
Yeah, I was gonna say let me get one more because I think this guy's.
You can say as many as you want.
I think this guy's going to have a decent season. Evan Pryor was a 5-star, came in with Travion Henderson. They kind of thought he was going to be that 1-2 punch. He's just dealt with injuries last 2 seasons.
He's a running back, you said?
Running back, yeah. And I think, you have Mayan Williams, Dallin Hayden started to show some life like at the end of the season, and then Henderson. But I think if they can find a way to put Pryor in there, it's going to be deadly. It's going to be hard to do.
No, that's a good thing too. That's one thing I'll say about our running back room too. We have a lot of guys are going to play back there. So,
yeah,
having 3 guys, like 2 guys, obviously, like you want that 1-2 punch, but having him third, that's fucking good. Goes a long way.
What's the deal with Hayden? I know that we were in talk.
He's good too.
I know, but like I heard he might have been going to being Tennessee because that's where he's from, kind of thing. I think his dad was like a dog there when he played. So and him coming to Ohio State was kind of like that kind of raised some eyebrows around his area. So what's going on with him? Do you think he plays much or?
He'll get some touches, I think. He raised eyebrows last year. He came in and played just about as good as a true freshman can play. Against a program. So I'd be shocked if he left because once Travion's out of here, once Mayan's out of here, Pryor's coming up on the end of his stint. I'd be surprised if he left because I think the job next year is up in the air and he's a stud. So we'll see. We don't really have too many. We don't have one of those 5-star backs coming in. We missed out on all of those. So it's going to be a winner takes the job. So, I think he should stay. He's from near Tennessee. Obviously has the family ties. So if it's a family thing and he wants to get back closer to there and probably get a more immediate playing time, I don't think it's a bad idea for him to do so. But we'll see.
I don't know about their running back situation either. I feel like, I don't know, did they have a good running back last year? I'm not going to sit here and act like I watched them enough to know. I watched them in the big games like Alabama, Clemson, or not Clemson, Alabama. Like I don't know if they played Georgia, but in those games they were airing it out, kind of thing. So do you know if they even have like a running? Like, that might be why he's also like screw it. Like
yeah, I have no clue. Hendon Hooker was throwing 55 passes a game last season, so. I don't think they were running.
They had good receivers too last year.
The sidetrack. Have you guys seen these videos on like social media? It's like this random dude, and he's like interviewing all the rookies, and he's asking them like, how do you feel about like your rating and
yeah.
And it tells you if like you're lying or like it'll be like a red thing, and it's definitely some bullshit that they're putting on. But like this man Stroud actually truly believes that he is better than Patrick Mahomes, and I understand like saying it for the hype. But like this man actually thinks he's the best.
Oh, I didn't see Mahomes that all white party.
He was there.
Mahomes was there.
I don't think he was there.
No, Stroud was there. That's how you know it's Illuminati.
And that's how you also know who's better. One was grinding. One was fucking. Exactly. Bryce Young was fucking heaving the ball on the football field.
One was dealing with his annoying ass wife. One was out there partying.
Dude. If we want to go into this,
hey, Johnny Manziel partied a lot too, baby.
Can you admit now that 3 or 4 years later that you were wrong this whole time, both of you, and that I've just been right
about what?
Patrick Mahomes.
Wrong about what?
I've been saying for 4 years. Yeah,
because he landed on the Chiefs. If fucking Nathan Peterman landed on the Chiefs, you'd be like, he's gonna be the next him.
It's not. I'm saying he's the next him. I'm saying he's right now the best that's ever lived.
Oh, you're saying on that note.
He's the best that has ever played the game of football on a professional level. That is not up for debate. And if you think so, okay. Just say you've been huffing paint.
We'll save that conversation for another time. If he starts to sniff 7, we'll revisit it. So if this podcast is still around in 2030, we'll make that distinction. Until then, you got to keep that take to yourself.
Okay, buddy. We'll see.
Dude, there was one time he told me literally Tyreek Hill's the best receiver of all time.
I think he's one of the best receivers.
No. You literally said to me, he is the best receiver to ever live. You said we had 3 goats on our team at the same time.
And there's plenty of stuff I could say to back that up. But we don't need to spend the time. And if you want me to, I will gladly do so. But I don't think that
he's not even the best receiver in the NFL right now.
That's extremely also up for debate.
Yeah, it is up for debate.
Let's get into this Notre Dame game. This is the one I was like.
Let's jump into that. I didn't know if you had
any I just want to say one more thing, too. Cornell Tate, I've read a lot of shit about him. Dude's going to fucking tear it up this year.
Yeah, that's horrible.
It's horrible, too, for, what happened to him. Did you hear about that?
Nah.
His mom got killed in Chicago, this week.
Mm-hmm.
But no, he actually looked good in the spring game, too.
Yeah, we'll see. He'll play a little bit, too. I mean, that
he's going to play a good
not
amount.
to make light, or not, this isn't making light, but just to bring a little bit of not even awareness, but there was a player on Iowa who actually passed away.
I saw that.
Yeah. So that was pretty bum out worthy. So
was he a current player?
No, he actually stepped away from the program. So I don't know if he was technically still on scholarship or not, but he was walked away. And I don't know what happened. That's not my business. But yeah, that's crazy, man. I feel bad for Cornell Tate and for the Ince family. So moving on to a happier note, let's talk about Notre Dame and LSU. This is your guys' shtick here. This is your guys' game. So
yeah, Danny, why don't you lead us off here? I want to hear what you got cooking before I get into this.
So I'm gonna start it off this way. A lot of people are hating on Sam. They don't think Sam Hartman's him. We're talking about Sam Dartman. This dude throws darts. Dude, our pass game is going to be phenomenal. It's going to be very good next year.
Original.
It's going to be very good next year. Our run game's good. I think we have the best line in the country. People say Michigan, where it's 1 and 2. We have Joe Alt, though.
They don't even ever have big names like that. They're just always sound.
No, they do. But
they're just always sound.
So are we. So I think we'll have the best. I think we win the Joe Moore Award next year. My biggest worry is the defensive line. Like I was saying, we were talking about OSU not having – they lost 3 O-linemen. Well, our defense – we lost Foskey. Our D-line's not looking – I like our D tackles. I don't like our edge rushers, which is even bigger. You need that. So that makes me nervous. I think our linebackers will be good, and I think we have one of the best DB rooms in the country. So that being said, no matter what, I think the Ohio State-Notre Dame game is close. I think Notre Dame can – we have to play a perfect game. I think it will come on top.
All right.
I think it's going to be a very close game either way, though.
Well, let me ask you this. You said your passing game is going to be very, very good. I want you – I don't know a single wide receiver on that roster. I don't know place Michael Mayer at tight end. But you shine a little light on what you guys got cooking over there, because I don't care if it's Peyton Manning throwing the ball. If you have a bunch of mediocre guys, it's going to be –
So there's literally one guy from last season that you've seen at wide receiver, Jaden Thomas, who was definitely playing well last year. He's our number 2. Tobias Merriweather is a sophomore. He's about 6'3", and he's the fastest dude on our team behind Tyree. So he's going to be a dog. He was like 60 overall. He's going to be good. Tyree moved to slot. And then we also, outside of those 3 dudes, we have 3 freshmen filling in behind them who are all pretty good recruits. Rico Flores, you guys offered him. Obviously, he wasn't going to go there. He was 200 national. He's not going to go fucking play behind your 3 5-stars. But Ohio State clearly saw something with them, and Brian Hartline only fucking recruits goats. We got Jaden Greathouse. He was about 110, and Braylon James is about 110 as well. So that's better recruiting that we've been doing recently with Chancey Stuckey. Chancey Stuckey's been recruiting the wide receiver position well. We got a 5-star next year at wide receiver. So our receivers we've had a downturn on receivers the last 4 years, but our old coach just sucked. We got a new coach when Marcus Freeman came in, and he's done way better.
Okay. Well, the one thing, and Connor can agree with this, when it comes to recruits producing, I mean, if you look at Olave on our end, he's a 3-star, came out and produced. I will say that's the one area especially with skill positions, that it's a development thing. Obviously, you're one step ahead if you have that natural talent coming out of high school. Do any of these guys have experience, or are we basing this talent?
Yeah, Jaden Thomas was a starter last year.
Okay.
We just only threw to Michael Mayer. Drew Pine couldn't get the ball downfield. When he did, it was a Jaden Thomas. Jaden Thomas actually played pretty well last year. He only had 400 receiving yards, 25 receptions. But that's because literally we dinked the ball. Drew Pine is not a comparison to Sam Hartman at all. It's not even close. Sam Hartman has the best completion percentage, like 30 yards downfield. He has the most touchdowns in ACC history. The dude can heave the ball.
He
So,
also
like,
has the
we're
most benches in ACC championship game history.
Who?
Sam Hartman.
When it's Sam Hartman.
He got benched.
I mean, I don't think he got benched.
Be my guest. Be my guest.
Who they bench him for?
I mean, Willy Wonka. I don't fucking know.
He's literally broke every single one of their records. So if they're benching him, I blame that on the coach personally.
Who's their coach?
Who fucking knows?
It's a Notre Dame alum.
It's not Clark. Who is it? It's not Clark Lee. Clark Lee's on Vandy.
No, I don't know who the fuck Clark Lee is.
He was a DC for us.
Yeah, I don't know. I made that up. I don't know who it is.
Yeah, I don't know. But whoever their coach is, if they bench Sam Hartman and you get to the ACC championship game, that sounds like you should probably be canned the next year. But that's just my take on that.
Let me see.
So yes, I do think I think that this game is going to be close. I think people are sleeping. They think that Notre Dame is going to come in with the same like stagnant offense. Like, don't get me wrong. With like the Ian Book era, we had a stagnant offense. Before that, though, we always had a good number one receiver. Like year after year, somebody was getting drafted. Will Fuller went first round.
No, I'm not taking it lightly. I think you guys got a good team. The QBs, what you guys have been missing in the past. I mean, I don't even think Everett Golson was great. So I think you guys.
No, he wasn't. I think he's our best QB probably since Clausen.
Yeah, and that's my point exactly. That guy's a bum. So this is the first.
Clausen was a bum in the pros. He was the number one recruit coming out, and he was good for Notre Dame. Our defense just sucked in that era. That was Weiss ball. Weiss didn't know how to coach defense.
Regardless, I was trying to give you a compliment. You couldn't take it. This is the first time you guys have had a quarterback. That's the only reason I think this game is remotely close. But I do think it's going to be close.
I mean, our quarterback sucked last year. It was close, though, too.
Yeah, it was.
You ran away from the fourth.
True.
We're up a half.
Very true. You want a cookie?
I'm just saying, like, it was a close game last year. You obviously had a fucking number 2 draft pick quarterback, which I'm not saying McCord could be that. We don't fucking know.
So what are your predictions for the game? What's your score predictions?
What do you got, Dan?
I'm going to go 42-38.
42-38 ND?
ND.
Tanner, give us a quick little synopsis of give us a why you think it's that. I think
it's going to be a close game, and I think you guys will probably do well running the ball. Like I said, we don't have a great defensive line. I think you guys will do well running the ball. I think the pass will be a little bit more like the initial push, I don't think is going to be good. And with Kyle McCord, I'm just saying this because he doesn't have a whole ton of experience. I'm assuming Benjamin Morrison's probably going to get a pick. So I think that there will be some turnovers in the game. I think it's going to be pretty back and forth, though, offensively. So I think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
Okay.
I think
it'll be much more high-scoring than last year. I mean, we couldn't do anything offensively last year. Buckner could not get the ball rolling.
Tanner, what do you think?
I'm taking the opposite stance. I think 31-17 is what I'm calling for. I think we cover. I think it's a two-score game. I don't think it's going to be a 2-score game the entire game. Personally, like Dan said, I think our defensive line is going to be phenomenal this year. I think that Tumalo is going to have a coming out party more so than he already has.
He's already done that.
Well, yeah, but I think you could see Tumalo have a season like one of the Bosas or a Chase Young. I think he's that kind of player.
I agree with that.
I think Sawyer has been playing out of position since he's been in. I think this is going to be a big year for him. And then our interior defensive line with Tyleek Williams, Michael Hall, I mean, I think it could be the real deal. So personally, I think that's going to – I mean, I know they have a great offensive line, but I think we got depth there. I think it's going to cause trouble for them all game, especially when they get late in the game and they're a little bit tired. I think the 17 points is obviously a stretch, but I think our defense is going to make a big jump this year. I think we're going to have to win. If we're going to go to the playoff, which I do think we're going to go to the playoff, I think that Knowles are going to cook something up. So I want
to respond on that really quick. Yeah, you guys do probably have the best defensive line in the country. You were Clemson, for sure. But if there's anybody going against those teams, I'm taking Notre Dame's offensive line. And yeah, we are going to get tired. I agree. I'm more afraid of getting tired on the opposite end of the ball. If we only are scoring 17 points, like you're saying, we're losing that game without a doubt. That means we can't get the offense going. You guys are going to be on the field the whole fucking time, and your offensive line is just going to start manhandling our defensive line. Exactly what happened last year. So So, yeah, but I don't think that we're going to score only 17 points, personally. I think that Sam Hartman's going to be able to get the ball off the field.
Yeah, and the only reason I have us scoring 31. I mean, I think we traditionally Ohio State to win games, especially big games, you look at them, we've been scoring 40 plus is where we've been. I think our offense this year, because we don't have that guy who's going to throw 45 times, I think that we're going to have a killer run game. It's going to be a slower game. It's going to be more play action. I don't think you're going to see the 52-38 wins anymore. I think if we go beat the people that we're supposed to beat, I think it's going to be the defense takes a step up. We manage the ball really well. We run the ball really well, run the clock down, tire teams out, win that way. That's how I think that game's going to go. I really do think the running back room, if our offensive line can be even somewhat competent or somewhat near what it was last go around, it's going to be pretty.
That's weak, bro. What?
Just that.
Sorry,
Tanner, it wasn't you. It was this dude. Just, never mind.
But I don't give a fuck.
I'm not saying you do. To me, it's funny.
Yeah, no, but it's going to be a good game. Bottom line, I think it's going to be a very good game. I do think we come out on top for once. Give your input.
Oh, I will. I just want to say one thing Iowa related, considering.
Get going.
I just found out some news today also that Iowa had to change who they're sending to Big Ten Media Day. And this may not seem like big news. Obviously, that sounds stupid and irrelevant, but typically you send some bigger name guys and bigger character guys in your program. We had to send someone else because we currently have 15 players under investigation for gambling.
Nice.
So while I fucking love it and think it's clowning, I'm horrified. What the fuck?
Who's going?
They haven't released any names. That's the only one I know of consequence because he was supposed to go to Media Day. So that is my input on Iowa. I'm pretty fucking sick about that. And my only other input was the Cody Ince thing, RIP. But as far as my predictions for the ND-OSU games, I don't have much to say. I don't know much about each. But respectfully, I hope they both lose.
All right, that's a bad answer.
Is that possible? Can that happen?
No.
All right. So what I think is going to happen is, I honestly didn't see what I thought was going to happen last year coming. I thought Notre Dame, no offense, I thought Notre Dame was going to get beat a lot worse. So the fact that they held it that close for that long, I think they have a way more talented team this year as far as quarterbacking, coaching. Everyone's just a little bit further on. I think that they make it. If they don't win this game, I think that it is going to be a one-score game, whether it be a field goal or a touchdown. What the score is, I don't know. I think Ohio State. Team right now. This isn't me trying to be an asshole or throw shade. I think fair. Ohio State would win, but I'll gladly be wrong. That's a game I'm as clueless as it gets on. So they're both going to be really fucking good this year, and I think honestly, whoever loses that game, it won't have any effect on their playoff outcome. It'll be only any other game that happens.
If we lose to Ohio State and win out, we'll be fine.
Right, but if they lose to Ohio State and they beat, same thing. They'll be fine. I think if they lose to Michigan again, though, they're out again. I mean, they made it last year, but
who, Ohio State?
Yeah.
If we lose to Michigan again, I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah, but I don't think that you see Ohio State in the playoff after that. I think that while I think that they actually well outperformed Michigan.
It also just depends on what other teams are out there. If you have undefeated teams, yeah, they're fine.
There's a lot that could happen.
If USC's undefeated or say like Clemson or Georgia, they're probably not going to. Yeah,
that was a random one, but yeah, teams.
Yeah, they were 6 and 7 last year. I don't think Venables was him.
Yeah, but I also love that he was like, dude, 6 and 7, dog shit. These fucking idiots on my team, they're dog shit. I expect better.
Well, he's the one that brought in Dylan Gabriel, so I blame him.
He didn't. He did not bring in Dylan Gabriel. He transferred there before.
Did he?
Yeah. He was left with Dylan Gabriel. So do you feel bad for him, though?
Yeah, kind of.
Anyway, moving on. Tanner, what do you think as far as Big Ten predictions? You don't have to go one by one, but who would you say are the top 3 on each side this year? 3 to 4, maybe. I'm not going to sit here and act like you, and this is no hate, but I don't think that you know a lot about Illinois or Minnesota and those guys. So it's fine if you don't
No, I wrote it. I wrote it down. I think the East, it's pretty clear. I think it's OSU, Penn State, Michigan, top three, whatever order you want to put it in. I think Michigan and Ohio State a little bit better than PSU, but you could see them come out.
Well, what's your order? I want to hear your prediction because we're gonna write this in stone and we're gonna revisit it just to laugh at you.
I think Ohio State's obviously. I'm going to say I think Ohio State's still the best team. I think Michigan is the second best team, but I think Penn State is going to beat Michigan.
I love that.
Sounds weird.
I love it.
Hey, I think that's what's going to happen. I think they're gonna knock them off, and it's going to be one of their staple wins for the season. I think you're going to see Penn State fighting for a playoff spot come the end of the year. I mean, I wouldn't.
Nebraska will beat Michigan as well. Just write that now too.
What'd you say?
I said Nebraska will beat Michigan this year. I've got $10 on it with him. I fully believe that the 4-0 Cornhuskers will beat Michigan at home week 5.
Hey, I wouldn't be mad.
I would be geeked over it. It's straight up fuck Michigan. But okay, what do you think about the West then? And I want your specific order. So you could say straight up like Illinois. You could say
okay.
But we're gonna see who's most accurate when it comes to said and done. You have to give yours too. I
honestly think that I think Wisco's the best team on the West. I think Iowa's right behind them. I know it's an Iowa podcast. I got a soft spot for Iowa. I root for them. I love to see them win.
No, I like realism.
Wisco did well in the transfer portal. They brought in the quarterback Tanner from SM. Yeah, I think he's going to be a stud. They got that running back who is built like a freak. And
yeah, he's 6'3", 240, I think.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Yeah, and I think Wisconsin's returning 8 starters on defense, so it's a seasoned team. You bring in Fick; he's obviously done well. He showed he's capable of at Cincinnati with I don't think the most talent in the world. Still had a really solid team, had to win games. So I do think that Wisco probably takes it. I think Iowa is interesting this year because it's hard to tell. I think you get the biggest guess when it comes to what Iowa's going to be. You have Cade, who is a good quarterback. He's got a lot of talent, probably a more talented quarterback than you guys have had naturally in years since the early 2000s.
No doubt.
So, I mean,
I agree.
You get Caleb Brown. Obviously, he's been under Heartline for a few years. We've seen what those guys are able to do. I think he'll be a good fit. You finally have someone who's a downfield threat. Who's the new tight end? Who's replacing Laporta?
We got another Michigan transfer. His name is Eric All.
Okay. You know who that is, Tan, right?
Yeah, I do.
He was injured for most of last year. He actually had a pretty substantial injury. They were questioning whether or not he'd be able to play again. So and that raises. We still have Lachey, but I mean that raises some eyebrows with Eric All. But apparently, all things are going pretty smooth so far. So
yeah,
it's a long season. A lot can happen, but for right now, actually, he's apparently in very good shape. So that's pleasant to hear.
Yeah, so you guys are going to have a good defense. That's never going to be where you guys get beat.
That's who we are.
Offense has been. There's not a good word to describe what it's been the last few years. I mean, garbage.
No. Only offensive terms is the terms I'll take right now. I need
New York garbage.
It's
but honestly, I think you guys could have a good offense this year. If it's even 75% better than it was last year, you guys are going to do what you guys always do, probably beat some teams that you guys aren't supposed to beat, and then we'll see how you guys do with some of those.
Let me just remind you. We went 8-4 with the 130th ranked offense in the NCAA last year. Okay, I want you to take a guess at how many NCAA teams there are. We're 130th. How many do you think there are?
I think it's like 155 or something, right?
No, there's 131.
Also, this is another thing I was going to say. Put that in perspective a little bit more. You quite literally had the worst quarterback of all time.
No,
like QBR wise, you literally you can't get worse than that. He couldn't hit a quick slant.
No, I love the guy, and honestly I don't, but I love the guy. He's a good dude. He is the worst quarterback who I've ever had the misfortune of watching.
Yeah, Bowser
and Danny's taking a leak or something, but
Bowserman's been sleeping like a baby ever since he watched that guy play. He took over.
He took a lot of pressure off him.
Big Ten. So I mean, like like I said, I like Iowa. I think they got a good program. They obviously do something right because, I mean, what they do with the amount of talent they bring in is pretty crazy. So I like Wisco to take it. I think they're a pretty solid team and Fick's a good coach. I wouldn't be surprised if I was in Indy at the end of the year. And then in third, I wrote all of them down. So in third, I think Nebraska is going to make a little turnaround. I'd like to see them be good again, as much as I know you guys hate them. But
no, I'm all in favor for them to be good again. It makes my arguments more fun. I hate arguing with these fucking idiots that go 3-9 every year. It's boring.
Yeah, and so in Nebraska, I'd like to see them start to compete again on a bigger scale. And then you obviously Minnesota, Purdue, Northwestern, Illinois. I mean, who cares?
We're gonna write off Northwestern, obviously, given everything that's happened as well. So
yeah. But I think those are the top three. I think that's pretty concrete. I mean, Minnesota's been a good team. If you look at what they've done over the past 10, 15 years, I mean, they're always right there. They beat the team. And then Illinois had a one-off last year. I know they lost Witherspoon and a few other guys. I don't know.
We got some transfers, brother. Don't forget about them either.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see. I don't think they're going to be competing for the West title, but
I didn't think it would be last year either, and they were a game away. So the West is so wide open because of how bad it is, and obviously being an Iowa fan, I have to face the facts. Our conference is so bad that it actually makes it pretty competitive. I like the way it is, and yours is so damn good that it makes it competitive, and that's why it's the way it is. So while everything's changing, I almost don't hate the way it was, and I know that it was a huge difference, but it was still competitive. All things aside, Danny, give me your top three from your side.
All right, so I'll start with the East.
Yeah, that's an easy
I'm gonna go Michigan number one and this is I'm not gonna put bias on this, but
you've got such a boner for Michigan, dude. It makes me sick.
They didn't lose a lot of players. One, they still have their offensive line back. To be completely honest with you, they've dominated Ohio State in the trenches the last 2 years. And then also, last time they had to go up to Michigan, they all just bitched about the snow.
I don't believe that. They play in snow all the time. Where do you think Ohio is?
Yeah, well, Ohio State fans love to pull. Do you think it's
Florida to Michigan?
No, Ohio State fans love to pull the snow card in that game.
Oh, but okay. While I understand that, yes, fans will pull anything out of their ass. Yeah. Well, the refs were against it. The refs will lose. If you didn't make that call, it's always the refs. Which I'm not hating on you, but that's how I am as a fan. That's how everyone is as a fan when you don't see.
No, the football does not come down to one game.
I agree. But most people are spiteful.
I mean, yeah, but that's
delusion. They give excuses.
Okay, well, either way, though, I'm still going to take Michigan as of right now. We'll see. My mind can very well change quickly if Ohio State's fucking running through shit.
Right. This is our preseason.
This is right now what I am saying. I think Michigan's going to be really fucking good. I do think they have the best running back room in the country. They've literally, like I said earlier.
Who's number 2 though? Then Penn State, yes. And then who's number 3? Ohio State. All 3 of the competing teams in the East. Crazy how it worked. Go on.
Anyway, though, yeah, I'm definitely taking Ohio State at number 2. I think they'll beat Penn State. I'm going to take Penn State at 3. But I think the Michigan-Ohio State game, I think it'll be probably a closer game this year. I don't think they're going to blow you out, but because there's just no way that happens 3 years in a row.
If it does happen 3 years in a row, Ryan Day is going to be on the hot seat. I don't care. He's 45-6 since he's gotten here. Beats everyone and their cousin. If you lose to Michigan 3 times in a row in Columbus.
Respectfully, he was on the hot seat after last loss. If he loses this game, he's not on the hot seat. He's on the curb begging for a job.
But yeah, no, I mean, dude, they look good last year. I mean, they had really bad mistakes against TCU.
TCU team got beat. What would happen?
Oh, everybody was getting beat.
But what would have happened? TCU beat Michigan. And I know that this isn't the Peter principle. They beat them, so that means they beat them.
JJ McCarthy played awful in that game.
He did.
He played that's
awful. A way better defense.
He just needs to manage the game, dude.
I'm excited. I'm being a dick, and I'm asking and adding shit for no reason. Go on. Shut up.
JJ McCarthy just needs to manage the game. He couldn't manage the TCU game. He wasn't playing well. He's turning the ball over. You can't do it. They turned the ball over on the fucking 5-yard line.
They did. I remember that. They did.
Like, you can't be doing that shit in a playoff game.
That's a no-no.
I think if he just game manages that game, they probably win and they walk in next week and they get spanked by Georgia. But I don't think it would have been fucking 60 points.
No.
That OSU Georgia game was the national championship.
Yes.
Respectfully.
Yes, I agree. But also, it seems like Ryan Day just hasn't brought the juice for the Michigan game. Maybe it's just like you guys are just used to just scraping them, and you're getting caught off guard a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
But this year you're going in as like you said, we were talking about it, going in as an underdog. Like, have the chip on your shoulder this year.
They'll have it. I would.
I mean, so my West.
You're going to say Wisconsin. You can say Iowa. I want to know who your 3 is.
I'm going to go Iowa 1.
I love that.
And I'm not even glazing right now.
No, you don't need to glaze.
What I'm saying, though, why I say this, I think your defenses will just, without a doubt, be better than Wisconsin's.
And I think we're in a better spot right now than they are.
Their offense is better than yours, but also 100%. I think you can beat them. That's really what it comes down to. It's that game. Who's going to win the West?
It's like the
you
game.
Just need to beat them.
Small, yeah.
Because they're going to lose. Do they play you guys, Tan?
Who, Wisconsin? No.
Yeah.
They don't?
No.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Yes, I think you guys play them.
I'm sorry, we do. We go Penn State on the 21st, Wisconsin on the 28th of October. So yes,
I think
that's a tough
one. You guys play Penn State, but you don't play Michigan. If they play all 3 of those teams and you guys, I think you guys come out on top of the.
That does help substantially that they have to play very hard East.
Right, but they might not play both. But then if they don't play both, then it comes down to that game.
No, but if they play Ohio State, I'm writing that up as a loss for them.
Yeah,
guaranteed. If they play Penn State, which I believe they do, I'm writing that up as a loss for them. Which that'll be a good game too. Which I should not write anything up.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. Obviously, Wisconsin 2, and 3.
Yeah, who's your 3? It's not like
Minnesota.
I think that's a good play because that's actually what it's gonna.
I don't think Purdue's gonna be great. I think Hudson Card's going to struggle.
Everyone's kind of saying they have a new coach.
Northwestern's obviously going to be ass. I mean, Illinois and Minnesota, I'd say is a toss-up. If Bielema can do what he did last year, they'll be fine. Illinois has I don't know his name, but they have a really good defensive lineman, edge rusher too.
That's the dude. So shout out Big Banter. Do you know who Kirby Joseph is, Tanner?
No, not a clue.
He's a safety. He's a starting safety in the NFL.
For who?
I think he's on either the Seahawks or Bears. I'm blanking right now. That's on me. But he retweeted a tweet that Big Banter had the other day about a defensive lineman for Illinois who is apparently, and I'm ignorant on him, so I can't say a whole lot, but this guy's apparently supposed to be a fucking freak, dude. So just something to keep an eye out for. A lot of these teams that you don't think are going to be good at all actually have a lot of big names. I think this man Bielema did more than you think. So.
No, I don't think they're going to be bad by any means. I think it's still clear cut. I mean, I think
you could definitely go
Wisconsin, Iowa, and then I think you could pull up. I mean, between Minnesota, Illinois, and Nebraska, I think you could pull numbers out of a hat to see where they're going. I mean, I think it's going to be a toss up. It's always a bear fight.
That's why I like how it is the big. Sorry, I didn't mean to whatever. But that's why the East is like it's guaranteed 3 teams. I feel like the West is guaranteed 3 to 4, sometimes even 5 teams. And while they say the West is so bad, it's so open between those shitters that who knows?
Right, they just beat up on each other, but it's clear.
The only thing that they need to do is flip Michigan to our side or flip Ohio State to our side, so that way those 2 idiots can play each other in the championship.
They should switch.
Because those are inevitably the 2 best teams. While actually, I take that all back because it's my turn to say my top 3. I'll rattle this off as quick as I fucking can. Number 1 is Penn State. They're winning the East. Number 2 is Ohio State. And number 3 is fucking Michigan. That's easy. Write it in stone. I'll put my name on that. West is going to be Iowa. It's going to be Wisconsin. And it's going to be followed by Illinois. Those are my top 3.
Okay.
I'm not even going to dive in. Those are my thoughts. I'll make it short and sweet for you.
All right, Tan. So let's hear your playoff predictions.
Honestly, I think
give us 6. Give us your top 6. So the first 2 out as well.
All right. Well, in that case, I think it's pretty. I don't know how it'll shake out. I think you're always in the top 6 with how things are structured now and how top heavy these conferences are. You're going to have 2 Big Ten teams. You're going to have 2 SEC teams. That's usually how it goes. I think Georgia and Alabama are both going to make the playoff. I think Saban's got a chip on his shoulder. You're not going to see him miss the playoff for a 3rd year straight. So I think you got Alabama in there. I think you got Georgia.
They won it the year before, didn't they?
They did.
They won it 2 years ago.
But they didn't make it last year. So
They didn't make it last year. But
them,
won it the year before
them
that.
not making it 1 year is straight up like
agreed. But their quarterback situation it's not good. They have a bad quarterback situation.
It's not good.
They still could be good. Don't get me wrong. I don't disagree with that. They could definitely make the playoffs. But I think LSU comes up on top on that side, personally.
Glazer here.
I'm putting my faith in Saban. I think I'm going Georgia and Alabama are there. I'm taking Ohio State because I think we win the Big Ten, and then I'm throwing a little curveball out there. I think the winner of the ACC is going to go in there. I think Florida State gets it done. I think they're going to be good.
I love that pick.
Rooting for them, so I think Florida State pops in there at 4. I personally think Michigan will be 5. I think they're going to be undefeated or close to it. I would like to say Penn State because I mentioned earlier, I think they have the chance to beat Michigan. But
Michigan 3 losses, right in stone.
Yeah, I don't think that those 3 teams will all be within the top 6, personally.
Yeah.
Well, Michigan will have 3 losses.
We'll see.
Like if you beat up on each other, somebody's going to catch another L.
Yeah, I mean, you could be right. So I think those are my 5. I think USC is the 6. I think USC loses 1 game, and I don't think that the Pac's strong enough to get them in. They've ran into it a bunch. I don't think you're going to have the ability to have a loss. I don't think that loss that USC takes is going to be against a top 10 team. So
it'll come week 7.
Yeah, true. However you want to put it. I don't think Notre Dame's going to end up a top 10 team either, but we don't need to get into that. So they're going to have an L. I think it's going to be hard for them to compete with some of the resumes in the Big and the SEC, honestly. And I think the winner, I think Clemson's going to be solid. I think Florida State's going to be good. So I think the winner of the ACC comes out. So I think they're going to have two top 10 teams coming into the last week of the season. So
you really think Notre Dame's dropping all 3 of those games?
No, I know Notre Dame way too well, and I know Marcus Freeman still hasn't figured it out. So I think you're going to lose to Ohio State. I think it's going to be a tough one against USC. I know you're somehow losing a 3rd. It might be. I don't know who it's going to be too, but it'll happen.
Well, that's what I'm also saying. Like, you had Clemson up there. We beat them, scraped them last year.
But didn't you lose to Stanford?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it was last year, though. We will not lose to Stanford this year.
But what if you play Clemson this year? You would say that was last year, though, so we'd beat them this year. You keep that same energy.
I mean, that's fine. They try to put in Klubnik. What did he do? Throw a pick on his first drive.
Okay, but that's the same thing. That's what I mean. You'd keep that energy for Clemson. Like, yeah, we beat them last year. But if Stanford beat you last year, you'd be like, oh, we'll beat them this year. I was last year.
All right, that's perfect.
That's what you just did.
Okay,
that's what you just did.
Fine. I don't disagree. But also, let's not act like Notre Dame's a fucking 8-4 team. They're not. The last 7 years, we're top 5 in wins.
That's not what I'm getting at.
I'm not bagging you for that. I'm saying that he said that there's a 3rd out there. I was saying Stanford because I know that's a late game.
Yeah, no, I was just saying he was saying Clemson, USC, and Notre Dame.
Those are your 3 biggest games, yeah.
Yes, but he said all of them in the top 10, but he didn't put in Notre Dame. So I said, are you going to lose all? Are we losing all 3 of those?
No, I think you lose. I think you lose 2 games.
I think we were 10-2.
I could see 10.
I think we're 10. I think we win 10.
I could see 11-1, 10-2. Who do you lose to though?
Also, we are thinking about Marcus Freeman is new, right? But he fucking turned the ship around.
What week did you play Stanford, Dan? I think that was week 6.
We lost to Marshall. We played some bum ass teams. Yes, we lost to Stanford. We had Drew Pine last year, brother. You can't do much with him. He's literally in line with Petrus.
Oh, no, but what happened as to why he had to come in?
Our dude got hurt.
That could very easily
And I'm way more happy with our backup than I am with Drew Pine.
Who's your backup this year?
Steve Angeli.
Who's number 3?
Kenny Minchie, who's a freshman, who I'm also excited about. They're all better. They can throw the ball, dude. Drew Pine couldn't throw the ball more than 5 yards.
Yeah, but he found the right target at least.
Yes, because he found the best tight end in the fucking draft.
I mean, that dude went like 3rd or 4th, but we'll get into that later.
We won't get caught up on this. I think Notre Dame has 2 losses at the end of the season. That's my opinion.
Yeah, that's a top 10 team, though. Top old.
Okay.
We've given our playoff predictions, so why don't we jump into something that's kind of completely off topic here? Let's talk about the running back situation in the NFL. I looked at a tweet the other day, and it showed the average pay for the kicker in the NFL, which is like $2.4 million, and then the average pay for the running back in the NFL, which is $1.8 million. While I have a certain stance on this, I'm curious what yours is. What do you think about all this stuff that's going on? Saquon Barkley is holding out.
Can I go first?
You can go first, too.
All right, I'm not going to lie. Me and Jeremy talked on the phone for 2 hours about this last night, and this is the conclusion I came to. There are 5 to 6 running backs in the league that you have to pay. Outside of that, running backs are expendable. But this is why it sucks.
There's 2.
That's it is 1 2. You got to pay McCaffrey.
No. That's why they traded him.
I mean, fair.
Well, they didn't want to pay him. Someone was going to pay him. He deserves to get.
He will be paid by.
Someone will pay Saquon Barkley too. That doesn't mean he's going to be hurt. That doesn't mean he's not going to be hurt for 8 weeks of the year.
Yeah. All right. So this is what I'm. Yeah. So they are expendable. A lot of them get fucking hurt, but it's fucked up because, like, you're talking about the dudes that literally, like, linebackers and running backs are like the number 1 CTE dudes. Like, these dudes get hit more. They get the second most touches in the game.
Linebackers are so much harder to come by, though.
Yeah, but like the running back outside of the quarterback, like, they probably have the most touches throughout a game.
I'm gonna make a long story short for you, and you're gonna buy into what I'm about to say. The Chiefs broke the entire system by drafting Pacheco in the 7th round, and they fully exposed that no matter who your starting running back is, you can always draft a guy in the 7th round who is going to be valuable.
I don't disagree with that, and that's exactly my point. That it's expendable everywhere. I was trying to think of teams yesterday, and it's like their backup could fill that role.
Like
everybody,
the Cowboys, even
like
though
Kenneth Gainwell's good
years, yeah, Kenneth Gainwell is solid, but I'm still taking. Well, at this point, it's Swift now, so it's different.
Yeah, it's Swift now. Like Miles Sanders, I'm not paying him.
No, it's just, exactly, and they're like, "Fuck you, walk."
Exactly. So there's like 4 or 5 guys I'm paying. I'm paying Derrick Henry. I'm paying Nick Chubb. Like,
those are my only 2, which is why I said those 2, because they're the only 2.
Yeah, but what about the dude that you've been literally sucking his schmeat all fucking last year, Josh Jacobs?
I'm kind of starting to come around and realize he's such a douchebag about his money. The only 2 that I'm really trusting right now to take the
I'm
fucking
taking Jonathan Taylor too. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I probably would too. I agree with that. Actually.
And I'm definitely paying Bijan because he's going to be a stud.
We'll see with that, but those are the 3 right now. I'd say Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, and Jonathan Taylor. They seem like the least fussy. They're there for
I'm
business.
paying Eckler too. I don't care. Nobody can fill his role. We had 19 fucking touchdowns last year.
He's being weird though. He's being really social media weird.
Yeah, but that's disregard that.
Right.
He had 19 touchdowns last year, dude.
He was amazing.
Who's gonna fill? Like, all right, I get yes, Miles Sanders. He probably had 6 touchdowns. You can fill that with Kenneth Gainwell and still get production.
Right.
You are not meeting, and Eckler doesn't really get hurt, dude. You're not meeting his production and his health.
He does get hurt, but not
He's not out.
He'll miss a game. He'll miss a game or 2. Yeah, I agree.
You gotta play the numbers game. The reason they're not getting paid, the reason they're not getting paid is not because of their talent level. It's because of the possibility of them getting hurt. The possibility of a running back getting a season-ending injury is higher than any other position on the field. That's why you see guys like McCaffrey, who he already is a Hall of Famer, but what he could have done with his career if he didn't get hurt would be crazy.
He's not a Hall of Famer.
You got to think it's like risk versus reward. Like, obviously, if you have a guy and he's very valuable to your team, you're gonna pay them, but you're not gonna.
He said Christian McCaffrey was a Hall of Famer.
He's a Hall of Famer, probably.
He's gonna be a Hall of Famer.
I will literally right now in this moment, I will bet you $100.
He won't be first ballot.
He is nowhere near a Hall of Famer. Nowhere near a Hall of Famer.
I disagree.
He is literally 40th on the list. Jamal Charles is a Hall of Famer before Christian McCaffrey. You can look this up. Moving on.
Whatever.
Jamal Charles is not a Hall of Famer. Move on.
Moral of the story, I think it's risk versus reward. These guys get injured. The average, that position has the shortest lifespan in the NFL of any position. So you got to play the numbers. Who are you going to give your money to? Who really makes that big difference? And there, like you said, there are very few guys. I don't think they have the right to, Saquon Barkley especially. How do you have the right to bitch about not getting paid in a big contract after you've been in and out of that lineup for 4 or 5 years?
I agree with that statement. That's why you can't pay Saquon. But at the same time, if Saquon does not play this year, bro, that is their whole fucking offense.
Can I ask a question then, following both of those statements? Why did they then franchise tag Daniel Jones and then fully pay him out? You're then saying, as the Giants owner, that Daniel Jones is more valuable to your franchise than Saquon Barkley, who is and I understand the value of the position of quarterback, and I get the difference between that and running back. But if you're looking at player talent, I'm looking at those two, and I'm saying Saquon Barkley, despite his injuries, is more talented. So it just goes to show you the stinginess of these owners. They don't give a fuck about who's better. They want to pay who's going to get people in their fucking stadium to win games. Saquon Barkley is not out there in their games, so they are not going to win if they're going to pay for him.
But Saquon Barkley is just an example. It happened to him. He got the injuries. Every one of those running backs.
Christian McCaffrey is the number 2 guy.
Exactly. Every one of Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley. Next year, you could go Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is one hit away from being the next Saquon Barkley. I mean, I know he's built like a rock. It doesn't matter if you're built like a rock when your ligaments are getting.
There's 32 teams and only 2 running backs I can think of that will consistently miss games on a yearly basis.
What? You think there's only a few that miss games consistently?
There's only 2 that consistently will miss games on a yearly basis.
Saquon.
And that's Saquon Barkley and Christian McCaffrey. And those are the 2 that you're going to say are Hall of Famers, which I firmly disagree with.
Saquon's not.
DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift has missed games his whole career. He's super talented.
No one's thinking about that guy. He's like 18th.
Regardless, you're missing my point. I agree with you. They're
beating people up in Vegas.
Was he suspended last year?
Yeah, he beat people up. I think he almost killed a man, actually. I'm not going to dox a guy, but.
I know. I think it's up in the air. If I'm an owner personally, I'm not paying the running back position very heavily. Whether that's because I've seen what the Chiefs have done, I just don't think it's how you build a successful franchise. Running backs have not made a difference since the 80s. They have not.
Look at the Buccaneers.
They have not won you championships since the 80s.
The Buccaneers are doing exactly what we are claiming.
No,
Leonard Fournette, they actually re-signed, but what was that? A 1-year deal for a couple million?
Yeah, no, I know. He got paid. I think his salary was 2.8 last year.
And what's his face? The guy they got from Arizona State.
Rashad White. Yeah, he's our starting back.
Yeah, dude, that's the new wave. You run a guy out, you get his 2 to 3 years, and when he gets to his second contract, you dish him and you draft a new one.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So even in the
running backs are expendable now, which is
even in the case of the Browns. Like if the Browns aren't winning, you have Nick Chubb on your roster. If he's going to command, I don't know, I'm just throwing this out there. If he's going to command a $10 million salary per the year, what would you do with the other 8 if you went and signed a Pacheco or you went and drafted someone?
No, I agree.
I'm not saying those guys aren't great and someone will pay them. Someone will. Will that team win a Super Bowl or compete come playoff time? Probably not. So I think.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think that's the recipe people are starting to take now. So that's the reason these running backs aren't getting paid is because no one's been able to pay a running back. Look at the situation that Dallas is in. What they had to pay Zeke, now they're running
back.
Yeah, they screwed themselves for a couple of years because they got all their cash tied up in one asset who is expendable. You have Tony Pollard who comes in and outshines him. So it's one of those things. You're gambling, and running backs have a short prime. So you sign a guy to a 4-year deal, he might have 2 good seasons. The other 2 seasons, he's all of a sudden he's gotten too many hits. He's not producing how he did the first 2 years, and now you're in a pickle because you can't go pay DeAndre Hopkins when he comes on the market and can make a big difference.
Here's the thing that I think that sucks about it.
It's a 2 running back league.
Here's the thing that I think that sucks about it, and I think you guys can agree to this. Growing up, always, like the running back was like the dude that you always loved. Like if you have a disgusting running back, it's like this, you're obsessed with him, right? Say he's on your team. Like, you loved Ezekiel Elliott for Ohio State, right?
Loved him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, running back does so much to the fucking game, and they don't get paid. That's my only thing where I'm like...
Priest Holmes is why I'm a Chiefs fan.
Exactly. Like, you can name... Like, who's the best... Like, I say... I think the best player I've literally ever watched with my own 2 eyes is Reggie Bush. He's a fucking running back.
Can I ask you a counter question? Was he playing alone or was he playing in a 2 running back league? Because right now it feels like you need to have 2 to 3 running backs, and that changes.
Well, he played 2.
You need to pay 3 running backs.
He also had Lendale White at USC too. Don't forget.
True, but he was. I thought he was at Texas. Am I tripping?
No, Lendale White was at USC.
Okay, fair. I don't remember him a whole lot, but still. Yeah, I mean that's true. He did deal with it in college, but
and yes, he did have a 2 quarterback.
He had Deuce McAllister.
Yeah, he wasn't even that good in the pros. But that's what I'm saying. It's like bro, like. Some of the, like, who's the best player you've seen in person?
Who's the best player I've seen in person? Christian McCaffrey. But that's also because he just owned us.
Agreed, but like
he owned us on the kickoff.
That's the type of impact running backs can bring to the game.
And yes, that's do not think I'm discrediting him. I know,
and yes, we are talking about college right now, but at the same time, though, it still would work that way. Like AP, bro.
But it's because everyone knows how much or how easy it is for you to get hurt that they have 3 on deck. Like Jerick McKinnon, I almost consider our number 1, even though Pacheco is probably listed as that on our depth chart. Like Jerick McKinnon is going to be the guy.
Yeah, he's nice, and I would love to have him on the Browns.
It's like you guys have Jerome Ford. Like you guys have Rashad White, and who else did you get? You picked someone else up, I thought. There's someone, and he might not even be a huge name, but he's someone.
We picked up Chase Edmonds. No.
Oh, wait, I think you did get Edmonds.
I think it's Chase Edmonds we picked up. Yeah.
He's good.
He has a ton of value.
Him. Yeah, I like him.
So that's just what I mean. It just seems like a different league as when Reggie Bush was playing, even though it really isn't a whole lot of it. But I don't know.
I know, Connor, you're going to say the Chiefs started this, but let's look at the last 20 years.
The Chiefs did not start this with Pacheco, by the way.
That's what I'm saying. You look at the Patriots. I mean, you look at the running backs they had. They made Rex Burkhead look like a stud. They had James.
No, we did not start this. We just remodernized it because everyone moved away from it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, Danny. If you can name me one team, there might be one or two. If you can name me one team in the last 15 years that's won a Super Bowl that their running back was the main driver in that run, I'd be shocked because I can't think of one right now. If I run through it, there's not a single team that I can think of that had
there's not a lot.
Derrick Henry caliber player.
Honestly, the first one that comes to my head, and it's not within the last 15 years, is Jerome Bettis.
Can I ask another kind of question now? And this is what my dad asked me because I was talking to him about this. Who was the last good running back that you can think of that was drafted in the 5th, 6th, 7th round? And he listed off Terrell Davis from the Broncos. And I think that he was like in the 90s.
Yeah,
dude.
he was 90s.
But there's no Pacheco might be the next guy, and I'm not glazing, but like, dude, it's hard to think of anyone of value in that.
I'm sure there's.
So you have to get those guys early, but you won't pay them. But it's such an anomaly. It's such a weird situation.
And like that's also another thing. In like a basic job, like running backs have like the most risk, right?
Yes.
And like a basic job,
you deserve the most money.
And a basic job in humanity, if you're risking your life on the job, like
you get paid.
You're getting paid. Like if you're doing fucking like welding,
right?
You get paid.
You're climbing those cell towers all the way to the top.
Yeah, like those guys get paid. You get paid good money. Like the risk.
Truck drivers get paid a lot.
I was going to say that next, like because the risk is there. You get
paid. If we're constantly that, you go to a hedge fund trader, and what his income versus a firefighter or a police officer or a welder.
Well, those are all government jobs.
Oh,
That's a good point, but yes, I see.
A welder is making nowhere near what someone in the fire.
A hedge fund is definitely making more than a welder, but a welder can make a fuck ton of money. You don't even have to go to school.
True.
Yeah. I mean, I just think there's a recipe to win in this.
It's a business.
It's a passing.
It is a business for sure.
It's a business, and we're not the smartest guys on the planet when it comes to this. There's algorithms and stuff that they use when they draft these contracts up. And
you know what they're doing.
All right, but at the same token though, like linebackers are getting paid.
Kind of.
Because dude, those are even more rare to come by.
I mean, they're kind of getting
paid. Nick Bolton is now a top 5 linebacker, and that's not saying a lot, dude. There's not that many good linebackers.
I mean, dude, Jalen Smith got fucking paid.
Exactly, dude. There's no good linebackers.
He's not that good.
There are some good running, but that's my point. Is they saw him as like one of the top. He was one of the top.
He's not getting paid. There's
there
is 3 positions that
he's the highest paid linebacker when he got his contract.
There are 3
on the Cowboys. It's probably like Fred Warner.
Yeah, but realistically,
so good, dude.
Realistically, there are 3 positions that I think win championships. It's edge rushers,
left tackle,
edge rushers. It's offensive linemen and tackle specifically, and quarterbacks. Those
wideouts.
Wideouts. I mean, look at what the Chiefs did. They have obviously Travis Kelce, who's a stud.
Agreed, but then you look at the Rams the year before.
Can you read that? Or is it backwards for you?
19.7. Is that what he's getting paid?
No, Roquan Smith is getting 20. Shaq Leonard is getting 19.7. Is what it says.
Okay. Well,
a year.
$20 a year.
That's ridiculous, and that's a lot of risk.
But Roquan Smith is that dude, is my point. And Shaq Leonard is that dude. The other guys they're getting paid 8. You know it. They're getting paid dirt.
That's still more than running backs.
No,
bro.
it's not. I bet you their average salary.
The average salary for running backs is less than a kicker.
I'm not going to do it. I know that. Okay, I agree that linebackers should be more though.
I agree, but running backs should be too.
Well, then a kicker.
Kicker, yes.
It's a business, Danny. Who's what? When kickers win you games, running backs don't really anymore.
Do linebackers win you games?
Kind of. Because defense is so you need a good linebacker now. You need one.
You do. I don't disagree.
Look at the last 4 or 5 Super Bowl winners. They all have a good linebacking core. Like the Buccaneers had Devin White. The Chiefs last year had Nick Bolton.
All right, we're not going to disrespect.
Not that year, though.
Yeah, they did.
No, not the Super Bowl year. That was
Bobby
last
Wagner.
year. That was last year.
They had Bobby Wagner. Then Bobby Wagner left last year, and he went to. You want to put money on it?
Bobby Wagner did not get a ring with the Rams.
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Let's put 20 on it right now.
20? Okay.
Yeah.
20? You'll Venmo me 20 if you're wrong.
Yes, he left last year.
Okay.
He didn't win the Super Bowl last year.
No shit.
I think Dan's right.
I am right.
Okay.
He left last year. He went to who did he go to last year? The Seahawks?
Yep. No,
he's back on them now. He was on a.
So he played 1 year, and that was 2022
and
LAR.
Connor's right.
So we're gonna move on.
For the Rams last year.
Venmo, and actually, you know what? Just for you saying, I think Dan's right. I'll expect it from you too. Shut the fuck up. You guys act like I don't. My next team is not the Browns. It's not the Buccaneers. It's the Rams. I follow the Rams, and that's not because I want to. My dad's in my ear. I know.
Yeah, you're right. He was on the Rams last year.
He signed out like a late ass contract.
Yes, now he's back on the Seahawks.
Yeah.
All right.
Y'all just hate. You choose to hate, and you choose to think that I don't know.
You just don't know ball, dude. I mean, me and Tanner have come to this conclusion a long time ago.
Right. So those are the 2 people wrong, right? The 2 people I just actually said you are wrong. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, he is back on the Seahawks now. I got it confused.
You didn't get it confused. You're wrong.
Did. Yeah, I got it confused though. So
excuses. It's just wrong.
All right, should we run into the banter bulletin?
Yes.
All right, let's rip it. All right, top 3 bucket list games. This is a good one.
Bucket list college football games.
Can I start us off?
This is courtesy of Tanner. Yeah, start us off. Actually, I think Tanner should. Tanner's the one who gave us some examples. I think you should rattle them off.
I am. I'm not going to say this is top 3, but I'm taking one of them down this year. I'm going to the Alabama-Texas game.
That's so absurd.
Yeah, night game at Bryant-Denny. I think that's going to be a crazy one. I've always wanted to get to the South and see one of those, so I'm going to go do that. But I think going to see a Tennessee-Alabama game in Knoxville would be nuts. Little Rocky Top. I think the Red River rivalry, go down to Dallas and watch that in the Cotton Bowl is probably 2. I think that'd be crazy.
Didn't your brother go to that last year?
Yeah, he goes to it a bit. He's gone to a couple years in a row. And he said it's nuts. Just the atmosphere and things is nuts. I would say Ohio State, Michigan. I've been to those. They're great. But I think Army Navy is one of those games that if I can get to once in my life, I think would be nuts.
Think about that.
I mean, I rep Air Force now, but it's all good.
I think Army Navy game would be my 3.
All right, I'm gonna go with my 3. I'm gonna go LSU, Alabama. I want at LSU though. I want to go there and I want to eat fucking gumbo. Okay. I'm at my tailgate. That's what I want to do, and I want these silly chicken fingers. But
I want chicken fingers in my tailgate at 8 a.m. You're right. You caught me.
They don't play 8 a.m. games.
You're tailgating at 8 a.m. What are you doing, you fucking schmuck ass fan? You're getting there at 8 p.m. before the game?
All right,
fuck you.
But it's like a 12. Alabama LSU is going to be a
I'm getting there at 8
7:30.
a.m. I'm getting there at 8 a.m. Whipping up some breakfast Sammys, burritos.
Oh yeah, I want the gumbo. Bring me that. Bring me the gumbo. Bring me the Southern food. Give me the
eating soup for breakfast.
Bring on the Cajuns. That's what I want to see. I'm going to LSU, Alabama, number 1. Number 2, I'm going to go Red River rivalry for sure. And then number 3. I mean, I think most people would have like OSU, Michigan on their bucket list, but like we live in Columbus, so like you can't really put that one on there. Yeah, Army Navy would be sick. I didn't even think about that one. That would be awesome. Yeah, I didn't think about that one. But yeah, I don't know. I'd probably just go to like another Iron Bowl or something. Like that'd be sick.
Yeah.
The SEC, I want to go see SEC tailgates. That's what I want to do.
Number 1. I need to go to a Virginia Tech game.
Yeah.
For some reason, bro.
Yeah.
I'm looking at how rowdy they get. They go
Enter
fucking
Sandman, baby.
hard. Yeah, that shit looks lit. When they do those little side things, that's an experience I want to check out. Number 2, for me, I wanna peep. I want to go back to jump around up in Wisconsin.
You still in this?
Tanner, can you hear me?
He gone.
All right. Well, considering that he's gone, hopefully he comes back. Danny, let's talk about something in the meantime. This is now the first time that you can ever see what we look like. It kind of looks like the picture, considering I don't have my hair done.
Who's cuter?
Not me. Okay, we got Tanner back.
The Coors lights caught up to me. I was going to try and go while you were delivering these, but
So we're good. Okay.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Number 1, Virginia Tech. Number 2 for me was the jump around for Wisconsin.
You've been to that?
I've been to that, but not on the full magnitude. If I could go for a night game, in a big crowd.
Oh, Whiteout too.
Yeah, Whiteout's sick. I've been to Whiteout. I've been to jump around. Fuck them. So I want to go to something a little different at that point. I want to go out to, and there's no like, this is gonna sound kind of gay, or I might get canceled for that. I don't know, but to me, I want to go out to like a Hawaii game. You can't tell me like the Rainbow Road out in fucking Hawaii at like 3 a.m. our time, ripping beers wouldn't be stupid. So to me, that's a bucket list game. Let me hit the Rainbow Warriors. I'm checking those folks out. Danny's a Rainbow Warrior himself. So on to the NFL QB standard. I felt good about that one. So we're gonna jump around a little bit to the NFL now. It's a little bit off topic, but
I got to piss again. So you guys rip it off. Start off.
All right, Tanner, give me your top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL right now.
I think it's pretty clear cut. I think it goes Pat, Joe, Josh. I don't
really do think it's that. Okay. So you two think the same. I'm in a different boat. That's fine.
Yeah, I think it's Pat, Joe, and Josh. The three's up for debate. I think Pat and Joe are like by far the number 1 and 2, in my opinion.
Okay, so let's go top 5 for quarterbacks. We'll go top 3 for the rest because those are a little bit more subjective. But this one's pretty. This one's a little bit more up in the air. So who else would you toss in there if you would?
I don't know the order wise.
There's not a whole lot. Like, okay, who would you say is the number 4?
I'd probably throw Hurts in there after a season last year. I think he's a beast. I don't think he gets enough credit. But in the same token, it's hard to really judge considering that roster is crafted by the
guys. But so is Joe Burrows. What do you mean?
I mean, their defense is nasty too, though.
Okay, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about quarterbacking.
Yeah, but you have a defensive line. You have a defensive line like they had last year, bro. Like
the Bengals defense was a top 10 in the NFL.
You think if the Bucks have the Bengals defense, they beat the Chiefs though?
Dude, the Bengals had a top defense in the NFL. What excuse are you making? The Eagles and Bengals they're a top 10. What
Eagles
excuse
was top 1.
No, they weren't.
Dude. They were definitely up there.
The 49ers beat them and they fucking got cleared.
49ers beat
They were number 1. They were number 1 in total defense. Number 2 was Philadelphia.
Regardless, I think you throw Hurts in there, and then I think 5's up for debate too. I would probably say Rodgers. I think Rodgers is going to have a big year this year in New York. So,
who did you say top 3? Just list them off real quick.
I think it's Pat, Joe, Josh, Hurts, and Aaron Rodgers. Still,
they were top 3 in passing defense. They were top 3 in rushing defense. So whatever aspect you need for football, if you want to add,
what about the scoring difference?
Do your cute little thing here.
Hey,
you saw the stats via NFL.com.
I don't give a fuck about yards. If you let enough points, you let enough points. Oh my gosh,
they made it to the fucking AFC Championship. Clearly, they let up less points than they scored.
All right, fair. All right, list off your quarterbacks.
My quarterbacks: Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen.
I'm gonna go obviously Pat, Joe Burrow,
The Joe Burrow glazing is it's out of hand at this point. I won't do it anymore. So
he's the most accurate QB. He's the most accurate QB in the league.
Yeah, what do you mean?
You would not be saying this if it was Jalen Hurts throwing to AJ Brown. Hence why he genuinely has the clear-cut better receivers on.
AJ Brown's good as fuck.
I agree, but I'm saying
Devonta Smith is good as fuck.
You will say Jalen Hurts isn't that good because his receivers are great, but you will glaze Joe Burrow because
Joe Burrow. Everybody knows that he has
and he's
great
the most
receivers.
accurate passer.
Everybody knows Joe Burrow has great receivers.
He's the most accurate passer in my fucking dick. He threw it to his backside, and T. Higgins made a fucking catch. He's not accurate like that. That's why he lost. He's never won anything substantial.
Well, Connor, you threw Josh Allen in there. There's only one of those quarterbacks out of what we just named that's beat.
Josh Allen will at least run fucking through you.
Well, I will say there's only one of those guys that's beat Patrick Mahomes. So you gotta put that in there a little bit. I mean,
and okay, in a meaningful standpoint, yes, I will agree that Joe Burrow did, and he did.
And he outplayed
Josh Allen.
That's always been your standpoint. He's never beaten Patrick Mahomes.
Josh Allen's also. What do you mean, Joe Burrow? Joe Burrow.
All right, we're not gonna throw the regular season in here.
I'm not throwing the regular season. But I thought that Josh Allen has beat Patrick Mahomes, so that's my only point.
Yeah, in the regular season, and like we both know.
But that's what Joe Burrow did one time, and you're glazing his meat off.
He beat him in the regular season and then in the playoffs.
And then when we played him in the regular season, we lost, and then we played him in the playoffs.
He beat you twice. He beat Pat twice in a year. That's fucking impressive.
Okay, but then we beat him. And we won a Super Bowl. What has he ever done? Did he win an MVP or a Super Bowl or a Super Bowl MVP or two Super Bowl MVPs or two Super Bowls?
Nobody said
Stop it.
Nobody said he was better than Patrick Mahomes.
I'm not saying that they did, but at least Jalen Hurts has made it to the Super Bowl. And
nobody's beaten.
Dan Wells should have won that game. Joe Burrow.
Name another quarterback in the league that's beaten Pat twice in a season.
Derek Carr.
I doubt it. So
okay,
y'all got swept by them in a season.
No, we didn't get swept in a season.
Exactly. So next, and you definitely didn't lose to the fucking Raiders in the playoffs, so that didn't happen.
Stop. Okay, if you're gonna sit here and tell me that Joe Burrow beat the Chiefs the first time in the regular season when Jamar Chase had 6 sling
who's throwing him the ball, brother?
That's like saying that Ian Book made a great pass to Miles Boykin in that thing I sent you. Miles Boykin caught a one-handed pass, shoved a dude out of bounds, stepped back to another dude, and then ran to the crib. But his quarterback got the yards for it. And that's fair to apply to Patrick Mahomes.
And you know for a fact Patrick Mahomes definitely had those plays that you were fucking dick riding. Which he just chucked up the Tyreek Hill.
Which I was saying, but you didn't let me finish.
Go on, finish.
So you want to watch Patrick Mahomes, and yes, he did toss all those up in the air. But then you watch Patrick Mahomes, and he throws it left-handed. He throws it parallel to the ground. He throws it on the run better than anyone.
And you watch it. Yes, I'm not disagreeing with that. He's better than Joe Burrow, but you look at Joe Burrow, and he can make every pass in the league too.
Haven't seen him make a left-handed one. Only one person in the NFL has done that. So moving on.
That's not true. Brett Favre did too.
Yes, 36 years ago.
Not, but.
All right, let's go to running backs, Tanner. Top 3 running backs. What are you thinking for the NFL going into this season? We're not going to go like fantasy numbers. We're going like rushing yards wise, which is a little bit cornier because touchdowns kind of matter more. Back. Yeah, but, okay, that is kind of fake.
I think the best 3 running backs. I think Chubb is the best running back. I think McCaffrey. Obviously, this is injury subjective. I think when McCaffrey's healthy, he's hard to not put it to. And I think 3 is hard. I want to say Derrick Henry because he's just that guy. I think he's coming to the end of his little reign.
He had 1,600 yards last year.
I know. But
and was hurt.
I take it back. That's my 3.
No.
Chubb, McCaffrey, and Henry. That's probably my 3, to be honest.
All right, I'm going Chubb, Henry. Then I'm probably going to go with right now, like current status and what I think he's going to do this year. I'm going Eckler. He's going to do the same thing he did last year, I think.
Okay. I'm going Justin Fields, number 1, Lamar Jackson, number 2, and we're going to go with Derrick Henry, number 3. Fair. And you're going to say, oh, Connor, he's a quarterback. Justin Fields is a quarterback. So is Justin Reed. He's a safety. I watched him kick field goals the same way I watched Justin Fields line up under center. That doesn't mean I didn't watch him run where all of his majority of his stats are.
You just said Justin Fields is better than Nick Chubb at running the football.
Yeah, he is. He ran for 1,800 as a quarterback.
No, he didn't.
Passing half the time.
He ran for 1,800 yards last year. The leader had fucking 1,600.
He had a dick ton of yards.
Yes, I'm not disagreeing. He probably had 1,000.
He had like 1,400 yards, bro. It was something stupid.
Yeah, he was like 7th overall.
No, dude, it was stupid.
He had like probably like 1,200, 1,100.
Why did I click on that? I picked the wrong thing. My bad.
No, stay there.
Let me just do this. Yeah, he had 1143 on literally 180 less attempts than Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Nick Chubb, Saquon Barkley, Miles Sanders, and Dalvin Cook. Those are the only people ahead of him, and he had literally 100 less rushes than them.
Hey, keep gassing him up.
That's my point. He's the best running back in the league. He is the best running back. Number one. I mean, dude, I'm taking him behind my backfield right now. He is not a quarterback. Let's establish that. You're an Ohio State fan. I'm not. I'm a football fan. I look at it. This guy sucks at throwing the football. He's great at running. Know. He's not a guy I will ever have on my team playing quarterback.
He's gonna have a big year.
Okay, he'll have a great rushing year.
Their offensive line still sucks.
He's gonna
give your top 3 running backs. I gave mine. Oh, you did.
I gave mine. Yeah.
You guys do your receivers. I got to take a league. All right. Actually, I'm gonna get my receivers first.
Give it a go, Con.
Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, AJ Brown.
All right,
I'll give mine.
Go take your league. I can shred you.
I'm going Jefferson.
I'm gonna actually, if I could soundbite this, I'm gonna save it, and then I'm gonna reclip it. I'm gonna post it at the end on TikTok, and it's gonna make me go viral. So,
because it's like outlandish and retarded.
No, it's not retarded. It's what's gonna make us. What's gonna make us known is when I get fucking nailed on the head.
All right, so I'm going 1. I'm going Jettas. 2. I am going Tyreek Hill. 3. I'm going Davante Adams.
The Reek loving. I'm glad he's gone. I think it's pretty clear cut. It's Jay Jettas, Jamar, and Davante. 3 best receivers in the league. Tyreek Hill is great. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah, he's led the league in receiving or been top 2 the last few years. So I'm going to take him. But Davante Adams had a great year last year. I love Davante Adams. He's nasty.
Yeah,
I'm going with those 3 though for sure. But I think Jamar Chase is 4. A close 3 to Davante Adams, but Davante Adams, you can't discredit what he did last year.
Who, Davante?
Yeah, he was really good.
Yeah,
he had about 500 more yards than fucking Jamar.
Yeah, when I look at receivers, I agree with you. Tyreek Hill's been wicked, but there's a certain type of receiver I think you need on your team to like really compete at the next level. And I think.
Did I say anything about a Buccaneers receiver?
No. I think when you look at Tyreek Hill, he's an absolute stud. I will draft him in fantasy if I have the choice. But I think when Tyreek Hill was on the Chiefs, when they needed a big third down, they needed a red zone threat. You know who they were going to? They were going to Travis Kelce, the better receiver on the team.
This dude's about to get Janisek out of his absolute mind.
You don't know ball, dude.
No.
Woo! That's what Connor's saying.
Just say you haven't watched the Chiefs for 2 years. We'll go there.
They got rid of the best receiver in the league and they won a Super Bowl.
Of all time, you fucked that up.
No. Here's what you're missing is we have the best player of all time. That's when you have that, it doesn't matter. Travis Kelce very well could be the second best football player to ever live. You're gonna say, oh, fuck you. He very well is the second best player on this team, and he's the second best player alive right now. Shut up.
All right, I'm just gonna. I don't think you heard my top 3. It's.
I didn't. I heard that you're bagging Tyreek Hill.
He put Tyreek Hill in his first 3.
I was not.
He put Jamar.
His 10 is what 1,000 yards last year really blew you away, huh?
Yeah, because he missed what 5 games.
What's the best ability?
Okay, here we go again. We're not getting into this. Tyreek Hill is a good receiver. He needs someone else there with him.
So when he had Jalen Waddle as his number 2 and he was second with 1,900 yards last year, what are you going to say now?
Where did the Dolphins go?
Jalen Waddle was in the top 10 in receiving, and Tyreek Hill had 2,000 yards receiving. You want to bet? He had 1,934.
And
1,900.
less than Jedda's.
He had 1,900.
That's Jedda's. He had like 1,700 last year.
Oh, fuck. I'm on mattress firm right now.
Cooper Kupp didn't even hit 2,000. Nobody's hit 2,000 since
Jerry
Jerry Rice.
It went 1,809 to 1,710.
No, yeah, I put him at 2 for sure.
All right. Hey, it's an opinion. It's an opinion.
Oh, who led the NFL in touchdowns, though, receiving?
Not Tyreek Hill.
No,
Travis Kelce did.
Yes.
I love Travis Kelce. I think he's the best tight end in the league by a mile. That has
best receiver in the league by a mile.
Okay.
Why I didn't say him, I'm delusional. That's a fuck up on my part. My bad. I'm here now to just argue, just so you know.
All right, let's go top 3 tight ends.
Top 3 tight ends, shut the fuck up if you have anything
Obviously,
to say.
one is Travis Kelce.
Number 2 is George Kittle. It's George Kittle. It's George Kittle now. Number 3 is Mark Andrews. And if you want to debate that, if you want to get weird or you want to get cute, you're just fucking annoying.
Mark Andrews is better than George Kittle.
In what regard?
Best ability is availability.
Okay, actually, if we're gonna, you know what? I'll wear that one. I'll wear that one, honestly.
I wanted to deliver
that. That's a zinger.
But I'll wear that. See, that's the difference.
Tanner, get you a swallow after that one. That's a good one.
I'm actually, my swallowers are in the fridge. I've crushed like 5 beers.
See, y'all will never do that, though.
Crush 5 beers?
No, say that you're wrong. And even though I will say George Kittle is blatantly better than Mark Andrews, and I do think that 99% of the population would agree with me, yeah, you have a point. Last year, I think that George Kittle still out-received Mark Andrews on an injury-riddled year. I think that's more of a point in itself, but
I mean, you had
what you want, brother.
You had me
for the running back passing. Go ahead.
All right. Hey, I think Kittle's 3. That's mine. I think Travis, Mark, Kittle. That's my 3.
All right, I'm going Travis.
He's gonna say like Darren Waller or something like a freak.
Yeah, Darren Waller. Dude.
He's a baller. Don't hate.
I mean, we'll see how he does on the Giants. Darren Waller. I wish. He's on my mind now. Yeah. Travis Kelce, definitely number 1. Number 2.
Don't be annoyed.
I'm gonna go Kittle. Number 3 for this year, Michael Mayer.
Okay. You have to go based going on into the year on last year's NFL stats.
Why do I have to do that? Michael Mayer will be a top 3 fucking tight end in the league. I've been saying this for years.
Because no one will even substantiate the fact that Jarrett Stidham threw to Michael Mayer 1,000 times for 800 yards.
And the dude's open. And when Drew Pine did the same thing last year, and everybody knew it was coming. And
you guys won games doing that.
And he was getting triple.
The Raiders will not.
And he was getting triple team. Now, I'm not saying he's going to win them games.
Yeah, but no one. There will be no way to actually gauge his talent when he's getting 2-yard dinks.
When he has fucking 900 yards next year and fucking 12 touchdowns, yeah, there will be a way to gauge it.
This is how I.
What a
Connor.
Freaking weird way to.
I've been telling you guys for years. He's the next. Once Kelsey's gone, Mayer's number 1 tight end in the league.
Connor,
you know this is 3 years now.
You know this is just furthering.
No, because he'll be hurt.
This is just furthering the point that Danny's going to finish 9th in fantasy football.
That's kind of how it works. See, if you want to know how this year is going to work, I will give you the juice. Who do you want him to take? Take Aaron Jones. Take Justin Fields.
I'll take Justin Fields this year, honestly.
These are league winners. I'm literally anyone who ever listening. It might not be anyone. Those are 2 guys. Danny's going to go over here and take Joey Burrow and T. Higgins, and he's going to get fucking railed and come in 9th.
Joe Burrow was the best player on my fucking team last year.
And where'd you come?
Yeah, 9th. But
who else was on your team?
Yeah, well, I had Najee traded you for some bullshit trade probably. Yeah, my team was ass last year. I'm not disagreeing. I also had injuries.
That's how every team has that in real life.
Yeah, okay. I got fucked last year.
You got to draft those hard dudes.
And then 2 years ago,
you got to draft those hard dudes.
Will Fuller fucking decided to take PEDs.
I can't reason that. Why he's taking PEDs when he wasn't like a big dude?
Dude was getting ready to fucking game. He was getting cracked for the games.
Let's not sit here in a position.
He's taking PEDs for his fingies?
That's what I'm saying. He's getting PED. He's getting cracked for video games.
I respect that.
Let's not sit here and act like we just completely went the wrong direction. Let's not sit here and act like Will Fuller's a league winner. That guy was a bum if he took
Yeah, why are you saying, oh, no, I had Will Fuller? Yeah, cool. I had Spencer Peters.
Y'all clearly didn't look at his stats the year fucking D-Hop was gone. It shows that y'all just don't know ball. But
what place did you come in that year?
Third.
No, you didn't.
Will Fuller?
No,
yeah, third.
Really? Because I came in third that year.
No,
I went to the finals. You did not.
I didn't go to the finals. I mean, it would have meant you came in
second.
You did not.
You didn't make the top tier.
Yes, I did.
You did.
I can pull it up right now. Chugger won that year.
Oh, really? Who did he play in that year?
I didn't say that you didn't come above me.
I did.
I was in the playoffs.
Get better.
Okay, Will Fuller fucked me.
Don't have Will Fuller. Don't have Will Fuller.
Sorry, yeah, he did PDs. I think you can't really do much about that one.
You can do something.
Tell him?
Yes.
I'm going to text him before I knew he did PDs. Don't do PDs.
You know Bryson Hawkins? Does that name ring a bell to you?
Rings a bell. I don't know who that is.
He played tight end at Purdue, and then now he's on the Rams. I think he had a catch in the Super Bowl. Do you know Bryson Hawkins, Tanner?
No.
I was in a fantasy. You're in the fantasy football league, the college one a couple years ago when you were doing Butte Forest and stuff. Denny had Alex Denny had Bryson Hawkins on his team, and he DM'd him one time when he was in the playoffs, and he was like, "Bro, I need you to go fucking crazy this week. Like I'm in the playoffs. I need you to go like stupid." And he replied after his game, after he had like 2 touchdowns and 100 yards, and he was like, "Yeah, bro, I got you," or something like that. That was hard. I suck at it. So
you get like the Josh Jacobs on the other hand. Like,
fuck you, buddy. Yeah, no, he's such a douchebag about it. He's like, "Oh, you need me to play today? My shoulder's hurt. I'm out."
At least Nick Chubb will fuck you and not say anything bad.
No, Nick Chubb would never fuck you. You would be known 2 weeks before.
He fucked.
He fucked everyone.
But that wasn't early.
But that wasn't like him being hurt. That was like betting purposes. He fucked everyone.
Yeah.
Sucks to be.
All right. So anyway, next banner bulletin. All right. Top 3 teams to use in Madden 24.
Who you're most looking forward to use?
Yeah.
Like given all the different changes and whatnot. Like right now, the Chiefs are not a highly touted team.
Even the Patrick Mahomes out here doing fucking diving throws and shit. That shit looks corny.
I got mine.
Run it, Tanner. Who are you getting beat by?
Dolphins, Jags, Bengals. Top 3 teams I'm going to rock with.
I like
it. You forgot the number 1 team, so let me go next. I'm going to go Eagles. I'm going to go Chargers, and I'm going to go Ravens.
Yeah, this dude loves scrambling out of the pocket.
But you can't tell me that both those teams got a lot better. Maybe not the Chargers so much, but the Ravens got hella better.
I'm giving my top 3 right now. And I know that this team, literally, y'all can't beat me with them. So, it's cool. 1, I'm going Dolphins. 2, I'm going Bengals.
Browns.
3, I'm going Browns. Neither of you can beat me with the Browns. I'm sorry about it.
Danny, you haven't been good since Mike Vick was on the cover, bro. That was our
We need to retire this narrative that Danny is this dominant force.
But you guys know it deep down.
It's not a thing.
You refuse to admit it because we're on camera.
You won 2 games in a row in Madden 21, and now you've thrown yourself.
Dude, Connor, you didn't even download them.
Okay.
Madden.
5.
Gladly, I'll use.
If there's a way, I will live stream this game too. I will literally live stream the game.
I just want to go out on record, and Danny can't even deny this. I beat him 10 games straight.
Yeah, you did not beat me 10 fucking games straight.
1 game straight.
Yes, you did have my number in 24. I'm not disagreeing with that. You had my 23. You had my number in 23. I will not disagree with that. And Tanner, if you try to say anything else that I didn't have your number in the last 4 Maddens before that, you are high. I've literally witnessed you say Danny is a king at fucking Madden.
You really do have that Notre Dame fan brain. You really thinking way, way back.
Way back.
Tanner, we talk Notre Dame brain. Y'all is still talking about national championships in 2014. That was almost 10 years ago, buddy.
Hey,
y'all act like you're Bama. Every single year you're in the playoffs or winning a national championship.
Actually, you know what, Tanner? This leads into a good question. There's a lot of shit that you texted us about that you said, I'm screaming that I can't defend myself. You have the opportunity right now, in front of anyone who's ever listened. What are you going to defend over what we've said? And there's been a lot of shit. When we beat you by 31, let's hear your Ohio State defenses.
All right. We are not Alabama. They are.
You know that. You are not Alabama. You sure as shit are not Alabama. You are far worse.
So we can agree on that, correct? I am fully admitting it. We are the second best team in the last 20 years. And if you look at wins,
fucking not.
If you look at wins in the last 20 years, we have more than Alabama. I saw the stat the other day. And if I need to go dig and send to you guys, I can.
In the last 20 years, you have more than Alabama?
Yes.
Georgia and Clemson. Yeah, he
Connor,
said that to us. He said that. And
they
I
have
said,
6 fucking rings.
that's why I said he's the Pack. You might as well be a Packers fan. You win the regular season games. No one gives a shit, dude.
Connor, Tanner, they won 6 fucking rings, dude.
And once again, I said that Alabama is better than us.
But then wouldn't you say Clemson and then Georgia? Those are the two teams that have won.
Now a step back. Alabama is clear. Let's not mention their 6 rings. Here we go again. Don't get carried away, folks.
Why aren't we mentioning their 6 rings?
Ohio State is the second best team. Ohio State is the second best team in since 2000, behind Alabama.
I can name another team with more rings than them.
Dan,
what are you saying is success? Winning a lot of regular season games?
I don't. Who has more than 2 rings in the last?
LSU,
Georgia.
Georgia does not. They're the same.
Clemson has 2.
Clemson also has 2. There's multiple teams too. Florida has 4.
There's multiple teams with 2. I completely agree. So
all right, what about LSU?
LSU has. I mean, yeah, they might have 3. They're not. I wouldn't say they're better.
Georgia. They're the only team that is cleared the last couple of years.
The last couple of years, though.
Yeah. We're going off modernism. We're not going off fucking 2002. I don't care about Ohio State's in 2002.
Okay. Then if you look at Ryan Day's record since he's come on as coach, he's 45-6. Not everything is about championships. Obviously, he hasn't won them all.
Which is why I say
all right, let's do this. Let's go since playoff era. The best team.
Who I think we're the second best team.
Why do you think that? Clemson's won more than you.
We've gotten there. I mean, okay, if you go Clemson, we've gotten there.
Georgia's won more than you.
Okay. Now we're going to playoff era. All I'm saying is what I want to defend is you shit on Ohio State fans because they think they're all that. If you look at what our expectations are and how we hold them to that standard, it's not blasphemous to hold Ohio State to a standard of it's undefeated or bust. That's not blasphemous to say. We've been right there.
My only argument is the people that did not go to Ohio State who live around the area, you know what I mean? They are the biggest fans and the loudest fans, you know? I honestly think the people that I know that went to Ohio State, that follow Ohio State hardcore, aren't that fucking annoying to me. It's the people that work at the fucking local gas and sip that are tripping off and saying that there's a 12-0 year on the way. And that's what I mean, is just being in Columbus there's this wicked delusion cloud that just hangs over. I'm not saying you have it. It just feels that way.
Thinking, dude, it really is. Every year, it's not crazy to think that a non-undefeated season is a bust. It kind of is. Like that.
I'll agree from your standpoint, given your success.
I'm not saying it's not a bust because you guys recruit at that level, but you're not fucking.
And it's the cheddar heads like, oh,
you're not finishing out like those teams that have the top talent.
Dude, there's one team that we're not finishing out, and it's Alabama. They've obviously won a bunch.
Clemson and Georgia. We're talking from playoff era, like
Clemson won 2. They had a great program for a while. They've fallen off. There's something about
falling off.
Yes, they have. There's something about longevity that you can go in and say. Clemson had a
bowl in the last 2 years.
Yeah, they did. They also played Tennessee in a good bowl game last year.
Yeah, but if you played in a Cheez-It Bowl in the last 2 years, you can't flex.
There is, for Ohio State, I will say this as a fan, I'm not trying to be ridiculous. There is not a good bowl game.
Where's the playoffs the year before that?
Who did?
My only point is
Clemson. They got scraped by you guys.
If you played in a Cheez-It Bowl,
within the last 3 years, they've been in the playoffs.
This could be Penn State. If this is anyone, if you played in a Cheez-It Bowl, you lose your credibility to me. To me, this is opinionated. If you played in a Cheez-It Bowl in the last 2 years, that's wild.
All I'm saying is
that's an they lost. Game. They were better than most teams that year. They
were
probably finished 15.
They were 8-4.
No, they were not.
They were an 8-4 level team. They played Iowa State in that game for a reason. They were 8-4.
They were 9-3, and then ended up 10-3. They had 10 wins on the fucking.
I'm saying Iowa State was 8-4.
Okay, yeah, maybe they got fucking matched up. There's weird shit
and
going on.
And it came down to a
Notre Dame was 10-2. We played Iowa State and beat them by fucking.
That year
40.
was different.
No, it was the same shit.
Not in a Cheez-It Bowl.
Dude, basically.
No.
Cheez-It Bowl is a big outside, like, New Year's Day bowl. Dude, they lost 3 games that year.
Let's just go. I'm just going to read you something about Clemson because that's the one we're stuck on here. Last year, they were 11-3. 2021, they were 10-3. 2020, they were 10-2. Then 2019, they were
L to us. No, the 10-2, though, was an L to us and an L to you guys in the playoffs.
All I'm saying is, Dan, they had a really good stretch of 5 years from 2015 to 2020. They were a very good team. if you want to take a step back, like I'm just putting the reason that Ohio State has a stipulation is because we think we're going to always finish with a 10-2 and above record. That's kind of this. 10-2 is a bad season for us in the past. If you go to Clemson,
Clemson has 1 year of that.
I'm just going. The reason Ohio State has this mindset is because we've been so good for so long at this point. If you go look at Clemson, the team you're pulling out from 2010, 6-7, 9-5, 7-6, 9-4, 8-5, 8-4, 6-5, 9-4.
And we're 10-2 that year.
Yeah, you guys smoked them.
And also, Ohio State plays in the second best conference. You pull out a team like Clemson, they play the ACC every year. Garbage. Horrible. They had Florida State for a minute. It was solid. But longevity in a hard league, Ohio State has been about as dominant as it comes. I mean, we were beating
they're definitely up there, top 4, top 5.
Top 1, top 2, top 3 majority of years. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying we're Alabama. We're not. Georgia has had our number. They're the best team in the last 5 years, I'd say. You could make that argument, and Alabama is right there with them too. But in terms of the last 20 years since I've been a fan, since majority of the people that you argue with have been a fan, we are the second best team in the country.
Let's talk about the last 10 years since we've really, truly given a shit about football like that. Let's not talk Nebraska football. Let's go from 2010 till now. Who is the best football team? It is not Ohio State.
It's Alabama, which I've said.
Ohio State, but that's the thing. They're not in the top 4.
We're 2.
You're not 2. I'll give you top 4. You're not 2.
I wouldn't give them top 4.
Yeah,
I'd say Oregon. I think Oregon might be up there.
They scraped Oregon in the national championship. Oregon's never won a national championship.
Okay, but if we're going to do the whole regular season wins thing, they beat the shit out of Ohio State, 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago. 2021.
All right. Now you're just being ridiculous. Oregon's not even in the
Oregon's not better, though.
Okay.
No, but I will say, since playoff era, you got, I think, Clemson, Alabama, and Georgia clear. I'll put Ohio State at 4.
All right, whatever. There you go. That's fair. It's opinions.
I mean, bro, they all won multiple natties. Georgia's gone back-to-back, which you don't see like any teams do.
Who was the quarterback that you wanted me to name 5 better than? Oh, J.J. McCarthy. I got a couple more for you, by the way. Bo Nix, Jordan Travis.
Bo Nix is not.
Bo Nix is not even remotely close.
Okay.
No,
okay.
Not a little.
Okay.
There's not a chance.
I'll pull up every statistic that you would say that.
The dude put up fucking 3 points against Georgia, dude.
How many points did J.J. McCarthy
He plays
put
Pac-12 ball.
How many did J.J. McCarthy put up? Well, look at the stats.
Your boy played them. Cade McNamara played Georgia.
I know that.
J.J. McCarthy never played Georgia.
Who made it there to play Georgia? I guess they didn't. They both played in round 1. So Bo Nix threw for 3,629, and J.J. McCarthy threw for.
He also didn't play the first game.
27 and 22. You tell me what you want, bud.
I'm taking J.J. McCarthy.
You go ahead.
Who had less interceptions? Who had the better
QBR?
less
games? QBR?
Who had the better QBR and less?
Bo Nix had the better QBR.
All right, who had more interceptions?
Who played more games? Bo Nix had more. He also had 1,000 more yards and 10 more touchdowns.
You said 26 to 27.
He had 27 yards to 20
He had 3,600?
He had 3,600 to 29.
Okay. Yeah. I thought you said 2,600.
And rushing, I don't know. Rushing, J.J. McCarthy probably is better. But yeah, no, stop. Stop acting like Bo Nix is retarded.
I'm not saying Bo. I think Bo Nix
is both just bagged me for saying that. He's better.
I think Bo Nix is good. I'm
J.J.
taking J.J. McCarthy over him.
Okay, then you would be wrong.
That's a pass-first offense. Michigan's not.
I don't know enough about Oregon to argue that. I don't know who they.
You know everything about Oregon. They've been.
I don't know who their running back is.
They've been a spread pass-first offense
Who's their running back?
15 years now.
Who's their running back?
Probably not as good as Donovan Edwards or Blake Corum, which is more so to my point.
But you're acting like you know everything about Oregon. You don't know it.
I don't know. They had Travis Dye.
You couldn't name a receiver on their team.
No, I couldn't.
So don't bag them. You don't know shit.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Dude, they're for 36.
You know they're a pass-first offense. They're not a run football team. If they try to go run the ball in Ohio State right now, they get beat by 40.
And if I pull up the fact that he had more rushing yards, are you going to need to shut the fuck up, actually?
Who?
If Bo Nix has more rushing yards than J.J. McCarthy, are you going to shut the fuck up?
No, he probably did.
Then what more are you going to argue for a quarterback to be better?
When
he's doing more in every facet of the game better than someone else, what else do you need? If it's because he has better running backs, yeah, his other players around him are better than him. That's not the situation at Oregon.
Okay, I'm taking JJ.
Go ahead. That's fine.
Tan?
I think McCarthy's a better quarterback. I think Bo Nix has even struggled to find a fit at Auburn. He had to leave for a reason. So, I mean, I don't think Bo Nix.
He wants to go to a better program.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't think that Bo Nix is the best person to make this argument with, Connor, but I can see where you're coming from.
This isn't a hill I'm dying on. This is quite literally when I read on a daily basis, when I read any mock
draft.
Dude,
I literally read today NFL execs saying J.J. McCarthy is going to get drafted first round.
Well, this is fully. What isn't it fucking crazy when you see Bo Nix number 7 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and this you don't see JJ.
Y'all getting Bo Nix,
but isn't it wild that you don't see JJ McCarthy ahead of him in the mock
No, he's not. He's probably in.
So the first NFL scout thing, which we're gonna discuss,
the season hasn't been played.
Okay, but when I'm pulling up the facts to say otherwise, why is it now that the season has been played?
Well, I mean, the season hasn't been played. So
okay, so if I pull up another one that has Bo Nix going first, will you just stop?
Is Bo Nix 37 years old?
Jakob Pertl, set it up.
Are you recording?
Yeah, we're recording.
What's up, Tanner?
Yo.
Who do you think's better, Bo Nix or JJ McCarthy?
Bo Nix.
Thank you, and he's a smart man. This is another site. Shut the fuck up. You guys are 0 for 2. 0 for 2.
I don't give a fuck about mock draft.
I will 1v2 you.
You suck off mock drafts, dude.
Was that Walter Football?
You were just telling me that you were reading what NFL scouts saying JJ McCarthy would go first. I'm using the sites that generate off of what NFL scouts say. So you are now wrong.
No, I'm not.
Okay. You were also wrong. What were we even arguing before?
I don't know. You just suck off fucking mock drafts.
Okay. Right. I do. I read into them a lot. I read into what scouts say. I read into all this shit. What are you doing?
I'm reading.
Right.
Oh.
Let me pull up another one.
All right, now let's go to the next banter bulletin.
No, one more. Just to pull up.
Let's do one last banter bulletin.
Go ahead. I'm going to pull up another site just to prove to you that there is.
But I don't give a fuck what that says.
I'm sure you don't.
Unless this dude wins the Heisman next year, he ain't going top 10.
I'm sure you don't care. But just for sake of it, and just because you two assholes have a lot to say.
I'm taking fucking JJ, bro. I'm sorry.
I'm sure you would, and you'd be in the minority.
He has a better team.
That's why you would take him. I'm sure that's exactly why you would take him.
I'm not even talking about the pros, brother. I'm talking about college football next year.
But if I'm a pro scout, I'm looking at who the better quarterback is.
Cool.
And which is why I'm going to go ahead and take Bo Nix. This is how this works.
Drake May's his team's gonna suck dick next year, and he's gonna get drafted 2. That doesn't mean shit.
No, that means he's a great fucking quarterback.
He is a good quarterback, and they're gonna go 8-4 next year.
No, they won't.
All right, what's the next banter bulletin?
All right, next banter bulletin right here. All right, top 3 tailgate activities.
I'll lead that one. No hesitation. If you have the option to do so, a lot of places don't. You need a TV. You need college game day going, and you need at least one screwdriver in hand for everyone. For me, the number one the activity for me is strictly standing around shooting the shit at the crack of dawn before your game started. You're drinking beer, watching Chris Fowler talk about Navy versus Southern Mississippi. That's what it's about. Number 2,
I like it.
Some cornhole. Number 3 is strictly the breakfast aspect. You get the Blackstone portable one going, and you're just whipping up some shit. I don't even need to say more.
All right, I'll go next. Yeah, number 1, I'm going kegs and eggs.
Straight up, great way to put it.
Kegs and eggs. 2, I'm going cornhole for sure. Can't beat it. And then number 3, I'm going to go with. It depends on it depends on where I'm at.
If you're in the cold and shit, you got to be ripping fireball shots and stuff like that. If you're down south, you got to
also say it's like the boys are chilling for game day.
Oh yeah, it really does depend.
Say it's like we're all going to an Ohio State, whoever the fuck they play in the first 3 of Kent State, those bummy ass teams. Say they're playing at Kent State and we're tailgating for it. That's a beer die game. Beer die day. We played beer die, then we just walk to the stadium type deal.
Well, if we have enough of our boys around, yeah. But if it's with randoms or like
with
a
randoms?
friend, okay. Well, how are we approaching this? If we're all together, kind of thing, or it's like
It can be whatever. It depends on.
If you're with the boys,
me,
Beard Eyes
boys
number
are
one.
together. It's like not
Beard
a
Eyes
huge
number
game,
one.
but we're going to the game.
Oh yeah, no. Beard Eyes number one.
I'm gonna
Beer
play
Punks
Beard
number
Eyes.
2, and then any other drinking games number 3. That's just how it is.
All right, let's hear it, Toon.
I'm going to simply put this. Number one, copious amounts of beverages. That's what we're there for. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. We're going to have a couple beverages. That's how I'm going to put it. Your beverage of choice is fine. Number 2, tossing the rock.
Oh,
Throw in the football.
That's that clear.
Throw in the
a
football.
better cube than you, but we'll go on.
I want to know. Go from there. Number 3, I would like to say I'm going to go the bar prior to the tailgate. The tailgate really starts at the bar before you make your way to the tailgate. You get a little, especially us boys from the Midwest, you get a little beer jacket on prior to going standing outside and watching Chris Fowler. So the beer jacket at the bar, 3, tossing the rock, copious beverages. That's it.
I like the beer jacket. For me, I've always heard it's a beer blanket, so that's a new one for me. Taking that one.
That's a Tampa boy.
This is Tampa boy introducing me. I appreciate that.
So
no, those are 3 really fucking good answers. And I don't know if you heard the last podcast, but we were shouting you out and how we when Chris and I were and you, me and I were out in Iowa City, how we were a little bit hungover after the night I got kicked out of the B-Dubs bar.
It's like a Stein.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This man Tanner's like, all right, I'll get some drinks. I'll be right back. And my dad and I were just sitting there talking about, God knows what. And then we look back and this man rolls up. He's got 2 Steins in one hand. And the way he held it though was the most impressive thing. It locked around like his knuckles up here and here.
He was white knuckling.
He was white knuckling 2 Steins, and then he had another one in hand and he was sipping from it. So I was like, that's just a look right there. That's power.
And this is going to be my parting comment because I do have to jump. Chris Berry, I do look good in heels. A big boy can rock some heels. That's all I got to say.
He wasn't even there for that, which is the best part for me. He literally was just speaking as if he knew.
Oh, man.
But Tanner, all things aside, thank you very much for hopping on. It was honestly, we've been thinking about how we wanted to have you on. You were definitely a top tier guest.
It's been a pleasure. We'll make a round 2 when the season comes around, and
without a doubt.
We'll revisit these takes because I've taken mental note, and then we'll once this podcast has a couple thousand followers here soon, it goes up for the fellas. We'll revisit, and I'll get some clout from it. So
next time you come to Columbus, you're ripping a pod.
Yeah, we're ripping it in person.
We're ripping a pod in person. I'm in.
Tanner, good luck on your Arsenal game tonight, and thank you again for hopping on.
Thank you, fellas.
Peace out.
Later, buddy.
Peace.